Welcome to This Explainer. We're cutting right through the noise today to investigate a topic that touches literally everything: our economy, our food supply, our health, and really our global future. We are going to look purely at the science and the hard, verified evidence behind global warming to figure out exactly what is happening to our planet.
So let's just tackle the elephant in the room right away. Is global warming actually real? Well, if you ask virtually every major scientific organization on the planet, the short answer is an unequivocal yes. It's real, it's happening right now, and the data overwhelmingly shows that human activities are the primary cause of the warming we've observed since the mid-20th century.
Okay, let's make sure we're all on the same page with the terms here. Global warming refers specifically to the long-term increase in Earth's average surface temperature, and this temperature bump is mainly caused by rising levels of greenhouse gases gathering up in our atmosphere. Now, you might hear global warming and climate change tossed around interchangeably, but it's really crucial to distinguish between the two. Think of global warming as the engine. It's the specific cause, the actual increase in heat. Climate change, on the other hand, is the whole shebang of resulting long-term effects. We're talking heat waves, heavy rainfalls, stronger storms, changing monsoons, rising sea levels. Basically, global warming is the thermal engine and climate change is the fallout. To get why things are heating up, we gotta look at the natural greenhouse effect. It's the very process that makes life on Earth possible. The sun sends us energy. Earth absorbs some of it and radiates the rest back out. But those greenhouse gases, they act like a giant thermal blanket, trapping just enough heat to keep us comfortable. And hey, we actually need that blanket. To appreciate just how vital it is, consider this. Without it, Earth's average temperature would totally nosedive to a freezing -18 degrees Celsius. We'd essentially be living on a giant uninhabitable snowball. But thankfully, we're not a snowball. We sit at a pretty comfortable average of 15 degrees Celsius today. So the greenhouse effect itself, not the bad guy, it's a natural miracle. The issue is simply that human activities have rapidly put that vital blanket on serious steroids. So how exactly did we strengthen it? Well, since the Industrial Revolution kicked off around 1750, the very things that built our modern world, burning fossil fuels, clearing out huge forests, pouring cement, and massive livestock farming, they've flooded the sky with excess carbon dioxide and methane. And those gases linger for decades, sometimes centuries, trapping additional heat we just don't need. Section 1. The mountain of evidence and hard physical data. Let's transition from atmospheric theory to the actual independently verified evidence piling up globally. Let's start with the thermometers. Instrumental records going all the way back to the 19th century show that Earth's average surface temperature has jumped by roughly 1.2 to 1.3 degrees Celsius, and that trend is relentlessly accelerating. I mean, the last decade was literally the warmest ever recorded in human history. To figure out why the mercury keeps rising, you just have to look at carbon dioxide. For thousands of years before the Industrial Revolution, CO2 levels sat incredibly steady at about 280 parts per million. That was our reliable Goldilocks baseline for civilization. Not too hot, not too cold. But today, it's a completely different story. Direct measurements from observatories worldwide show we've blown right past 420 parts per million. That is a drastic spike, and scientists aren't just guessing where it came from. This extra carbon carries a specific chemical fingerprint, an isotopic signature that points directly to the burning of fossil fuels. Now, the sky is just half the story. Our oceans are basically acting like a massive heat sponge, soaking up over 90% of that excess warmth. The result? Water temperatures are rising, marine ecosystems are completely thrown into chaos, coral reefs are bleaching, and physically, warmer water actually expands and takes up more space. And above the water, we're seeing a literal global meltdown. From shrinking mountain glaciers that provide crucial fresh water, to the vast, destabilizing ice sheets of Greenland and Antarctica, right down to the dramatic decline of Arctic sea ice. The thaw is happening absolutely everywhere. So, when you take that physically expanding warm ocean water and add in the sheer volume of all that melting ice, what do you get? Global sea levels have crept up by roughly 20 to 25 centimeters since 1900, and that steadily increasing water levels significantly elevates the risk of severe coastal flooding all around the planet. Section 2. The cross-examination, addressing skepticism. Let's slow down for a second and respectfully tackle some of the most common counter-arguments people have. You hear this one a lot. Hasn't the climate always changed naturally? And actually, yes, it absolutely has. Earth's climate has naturally fluctuated for millions of years due to changes in orbit or massive volcanic eruptions. But the key here is speed. Today's warming is occurring drastically faster than past natural changes. Plus, scientists can clearly identify that human emissions are the dominant driver today, not volcanoes or solar flares.
Then there's the classic freezing winter day question. If the globe is warming, why am I freezing right now? Well, it all comes down to weather versus climate. Weather represents short-term events happening over a few days or weeks. Climate describes long-term averages spanning decades. So a warming planet can absolutely still experience localized cold days or severe winter storms. One freezing season doesn't disprove a global, decades-long warming trend. So you might be wondering, how can scientists be so absolutely sure? How do they know beyond a shadow of a doubt that human activities are the real culprit behind this rapid shift? Well, that certainty doesn't come from just one isolated study. We're talking about a massive web of completely independent evidence. Whether researchers are looking down from satellites, analyzing the fundamental physics of greenhouse gases, measuring deep ocean heat, or digging into ancient ice cores, every single independent line of evidence points squarely to the exact same culprit, us. Section 3. The fallout. Real-world impacts. Let's take all this abstract science and ground it in our daily reality to see what's actually happening out there. Because this isn't just about a rising line on a graph. A hotter atmosphere literally turbocharges extreme weather. And that cascading effect threatens the agriculture that feeds us, it strains our vital freshwater resources, devastates biodiversity, and ultimately costs billions in damage to critical infrastructure and global economies. Take India as a prime example of this vulnerability. For them, a shifting climate doesn't just mean hotter days. It means erratic monsoons swinging violently between devastating floods and crippling droughts. Combine that with retreating Himalayan glaciers threatening fresh water and rising seas squeezing densely populated coastal megacities, you've got an unprecedented, multifaceted stress test on public health and economic development. So, our objective investigation into the source material leads to one undeniable verdict. The scientific evidence overwhelmingly supports the conclusion that human-caused global warming is real. The Earth is demonstrably warming, the ice is measurably melting, the oceans are rising, and the data proves that human activities are the primary cause. Now, the scientific method is always open to new evidence. That's the whole point of science. But looking at this absolute mountain of global data, we have to ask ourselves, is there honestly any other logical explanation out there that could possibly account for all of this? And more importantly, now that the evidence of human-caused warming is undeniable, what are we going to do about it?